Welcome to the psyche ignition. Some men are not crafted for the crowd, they are forged for the war, and war is a solitary endeavor. Let that truth resonate within you. Because the Sigma male is no mere lone wolf cliché. He isn't simply avoiding people, he is evading entire systems of expectation. In a world screaming to be seen, liked, followed, and validated, the Sigma male is that rare force who moves through the cracks by choice. Here is a truth many find difficult to digest. Modern psychology tells us the human brain is wired to crave connection, much like it craves sustenance. But the Sigma male, he has rewired his own mind to crave freedom above all else. This is not a malfunction. It is evolution, forged under immense pressure. And no, this wasn't a choice made after a moody film or quoting philosophy on a bleak evening. This is not a phase. It is a strategy, tempered in the fires of betrayal, hyper-awareness, and the cold, clear realization that most social exchanges offer more noise than substance. So why does the Sigma male so often walk this world with nobody by his side? Is it because he is too intense, too discerning, too allergic to trivial talk and fleeting trends? Yes, but it is also far, far more than that. Stay with me, because these next 12 truths are not just revealing, they are surgically precise. We are pulling back the curtain on solitude, diving into a mindset that doesn't just accept being alone, it actively chooses it. And if you are not prepared for uncomfortable realities and socially inconvenient truths, consider this your final warning. Let's begin. Number 1. They were the emotionally starved child. Now they starve the world of access. They were not nurtured. Instead, they grew an allergy to neediness, both in themselves and in others. The Sigma male did not choose emotional distance. He was engineered by it, shaped in the crucible of early deprivation. As a child, he reached for warmth and was met with a cold stare. He sought comfort and was answered with silence. His fundamental needs were ignored, minimized, or treated as a burden. In time, he absorbed the bitter lesson. Needing people carries a cost, and that price is often your dignity, your safety, or both. So he adapted, as only a deeply intelligent mind can. He mutated. He didn't just disconnect emotionally, he did so strategically. He buried his hunger so deep within that it turned to stone. He stopped crying out and started studying, observing. Every disappointment became data, every emotional absence a masterclass in self-containment. By the time he reached adulthood, he had trained himself not to need anyone. But here is the profound twist. He didn't just numb his own emotions. He constructed immense barriers to prevent others from ever getting close. His heart became a vault, sealed shut, guarded by intellect, silence, and an absolute refusal to become anyone's emotional crutch. He didn't just stop asking for love, he stopped offering it freely. This is why the Sigma male is so often mistaken for being cold or unavailable. What most fail to grasp is that beneath that fortress lies a battlefield. He was once open, expressive, even fragile. But life taught him that openness was a liability. So now he gives the world what it first gave him: distance. If you desire access, you must pass 1,000 silent tests, most of which you will never know you are taking. And should you fail just once, the door doesn't merely close, it vanishes. He is not punishing the world, he is protecting the self. That emotional starvation he once endured, it has now become his ultimate weapon of boundary. He doesn't just keep people out, he trains them not to approach, because when you have been starved long enough, you stop feeding others, not out of cruelty, but out of sheer survival. Number 2. They refuse the transactional nature of modern relationships. They would rather dine in solitude than negotiate for loyalty. In today's world, most connections, romantic, platonic, even familial, have quietly morphed into disguised business deals. People trade attention for validation, loyalty for usefulness, affection for status. The modern relationship is rarely built on raw, genuine connection. It is built on silent, unspoken transactions. And the Sigma male? He sees straight through the facade. To a Sigma, nothing is more insulting than conditional loyalty. He has no interest in relationships that feel like a bartering system. You give me this, and I'll give you that. You act a certain way, and maybe I'll stay. The Sigma male is acutely aware of this hidden game, but unlike most, he refuses to play. He cancels the entire arrangement before it even begins. If acceptance comes with strings, expectations, or demands for performance, he will simply walk away. No drama, no grand announcement, just a profound and deliberate absence. It is not that he is anti-connection. He is anti-fake, anti-obligation, anti-you owe me. He does not want people who check in out of convenience or offer love only when they need something. He desires depth without demands, presence without pressure. And because that is so exceptionally rare, he often ends up alone. Not because he cannot find people, but because he will not tolerate what is readily available. The Sigma male is unimpressed by followers, likes, or romantic gestures that come with invisible IOUs. He has learned that most love is not unconditional. It is rented. And when the currency, be it status, usefulness, or emotional compliance, runs dry, the love evaporates along with it. So rather than chase it, he disengages completely. He would rather sit at a table for one, eat in silence, and invest in his own peace, than share a feast with someone who is mentally calculating the return on their emotional investment. This refusal to participate in the social marketplace can make the Sigma appear cold or arrogant. But it is not arrogance. It is a refusal to fake intimacy. He is not withholding love. He is simply unwilling to negotiate for it. And in a world desperate to be liked, he stands apart as the rare individual who prefers to be truly understood or not dealt with at all. For the Sigma male, loyalty that must be earned through constant emotional labor is not loyalty. It is manipulation with a smile. And no matter how tempting the offer, he would rather walk away than be emotionally leased. Number 3. They don't fear loneliness, they command it. Alone is where they sharpen the blade. That isn't loneliness, that is dominance. Most people treat solitude as if it were radioactive, a void to be escaped at all costs. They surround themselves with noise, distractions, half-hearted friendships, and endless digital scrolls, all to avoid the profound silence of their own company. But the Sigma male? He moves toward that silence as if it were sacred ground. To him, solitude is not an empty space. It is a weapon. It is the forge where clarity is born, where strategies are honed to a razor's edge, and where identity is purified of all external influence. While others may crumble without constant attention, the Sigma male becomes more formidable. His ideas deepen, his focus intensifies, his emotions are recalibrated with surgical precision. This is not isolation. This is refinement. He doesn't merely tolerate being alone, he commands it. He clears the room with purpose. Not because he despises people, but because he understands that too many voices will drown out the only one that truly matters, his own. And the Sigma's inner voice? It does not scream, it whispers in strategies, and only in absolute silence can he hear it fully. This is what the world fails to comprehend. The Sigma male's solitude is intentional, it is curated, defended, and fiercely protected. It is the workshop where he builds mental empires, restructures his future, and detaches from the distractions that would rot his discipline. He does not waste time proving his worth to a crowd. He proves it in isolation, through undeniable results. This is why attempts to guilt-trip him for his distance always fail. He does not see his solitude as a condition to be cured. He sees it as his ultimate competitive edge. He does not equate being alone with being unloved. He equates it with being uncompromised. While others panic when the room empties, the Sigma male thrives, because he does not need a crowd to feel powerful. He is the power, and when he finally emerges from that sacred silence, he returns to the world sharper, calmer, and 5 moves ahead of everyone else. Because he didn't fear the quiet, he weaponized it. Number 4. They view most friendships as long-term liabilities. That isn't loneliness, it is a profound and calculated strategy. To the Sigma male, friendship is not automatically a source of comfort. It is a potential ticking time bomb. While most people idealize companionship as an inherent human need, the Sigma male assesses it through a far more discerning lens, cost versus return. And more often than not, the emotional and strategic cost outweighs everything else. Why? because he has witnessed the rot firsthand. He has seen how people change, how loyalty shifts with convenience, how secrets become weapons, and how support evaporates the moment it is no longer beneficial. He remembers every fracture, every fake brotherhood, every confidence that was later used against him. So now, he moves differently. Sigma males do not build friendships merely to avoid being alone. They do not collect people like trophies or maintain shallow connections for a fleeting sense of comfort. If a bond does not demonstrate long-term integrity, emotional intelligence, and zero hidden agendas, they will not even invest. And let's be brutally honest. How many people in this world truly meet that standard? Almost none. So instead of dragging dead weight, they sever ties early. Not with malice, but with precision. They spot red flags long before others sense a problem, and they do not wait for the inevitable betrayal. They exit at the first sign of instability. No confrontation, no drama. Just a clean, surgical departure. To an outsider, this appears cold. But to the Sigma, it is survival. It is clarity. It is freedom. And because they operate with such exacting standards, people often mislabel them as loners. But they are not lonely. They are light, unburdened by fake alliances and the exhausting weight of surface-level loyalty. While others drown in the turbulent waters of group dynamics, gossip, and emotional debt, the Sigma male remains mobile, mentally, emotionally, even geographically. To him, most friendships are not assets. They are liabilities waiting to explode. The more people you have involved in your life, the more potential weak points you carry. And the Sigma male is not interested in leaving his peace, his plans, or his power in the hands of unpredictable attachments. So he chooses solitude, not because he fears connection, but because he understands its risks better than anyone else. And where the world sees only distance, the Sigma sees ultimate control. Number 5. They don't chase, even connection. If someone drifts, they don't anchor them. They let the tide carry them out and never look back. The Sigma male operates by a deeply ingrained, non-negotiable principle when it comes to relationships. If it must be chased, it was never truly yours. He does not beg. He does not cling. He does not perform emotional CPR on a dying connection. To him, the moment someone's energy begins to shift, the signal is clear. Detach immediately. He does not see emotional distance as a puzzle to be solved or an invitation to try harder. In fact, the more someone pulls away, the faster the Sigma releases his grip. Because in his world, true connection must be mutual, organic, and, above all, consistent. The second it begins to require chasing, he treats it as a dead end. This is not indifference. This is the wisdom forged in the fires of hard experience. Chasing people only leads to one thing: self-abandonment. The Sigma male has zero tolerance for emotional tug-of-war. If your presence comes with conditions, inconsistency, or hot and cold confusion, he simply does not have the bandwidth to entertain it. He has spent a lifetime sharpening his independence into his greatest weapon, and he will not dull its edge just to hold on to someone who has already shown they do not wish to be held. And this extends far beyond romance. Friendships, family ties, professional alliances, if loyalty does not flow freely in both directions, he will burn the bridge in silence. You will not receive a warning. You will not be subjected to a guilt trip. You will simply feel his absence, like a ghost that does not haunt, but simply vanishes. People often mistake this behavior for coldness, but the raw truth is, it is a form of self-respect so profound that most cannot comprehend it. The Sigma male knows his worth, and more critically, he does not negotiate it. He sees chasing as the first fatal step toward emotional imbalance. The moment you start running after someone, you have already placed them above you. So he does not run. He stands perfectly still, and if someone chooses to walk away, he does not give chase. He simply closes the chapter and continues building his empire. No theatrics, no heartbreak. Just a quiet, surgical cut. Because the Sigma male understands a fundamental law of energy. What flows, stays. What drifts, never belonged. Number 6. They're unreachable because they've outgrown the tribe. Once you've tasted true independence, the crowd begins to feel not like a home, but a leash. Most people are hardwired for assimilation. They align their opinions with popular sentiment, follow trends to feel relevant, and willingly shrink parts of themselves to maintain acceptance within the group. It's a tribal instinct, a psychological relic from an era where isolation truly meant death. But the Sigma male? He is the exception who has escaped the programming. At a pivotal point, often early in his journey, he came to a stark realization. The tribe was not a source of protection, but of control. The price of belonging was simply too high: conformity, silence, the slow erosion of his authentic self. And so he walked away, not in a blaze of rebellious fury, but as a quiet act of evolution. The Sigma male does not crave community in the traditional sense. He feels no innate need to be seen, applauded, or perpetually reassured. His self-worth has been constructed internally, brick by brick, without the need for external applause. And because of this, he has become fundamentally unreachable. Not necessarily in a physical sense, but mentally and emotionally. You cannot influence a man who does not want your approval. You cannot manipulate someone who is not hungry for your acceptance. This is what makes him so dangerously immune to groupthink. He simply does not respond to it. The tribe demands sameness. The Sigma male embodies difference. The tribe thrives on emotional consensus, shared outrage, shared joy, shared fear. The Sigma male is emotionally sovereign. He thinks what he thinks, feels what he feels, and moves as he desires, entirely independent of the herd's current mood. This profound detachment does not stem from arrogance. It flows from a place of deep clarity. He has tasted what real independence feels like: financial, mental, emotional, and the very idea of returning to the herd feels intellectually and spiritually suffocating. The crowd is not his home, it is his cage. Popularity is not safety, it is a form of social surveillance. And blending in is not comfort, it is a slow, insidious act of self-erasure. Consequently, when people try to reach the Sigma, to bond, relate, or influence him, they often find a wall, not a welcome mat. It is not that he is cold, he is simply done explaining himself to minds that are still playing by an outdated set of rules. He is not aloof. He has simply moved beyond the echo chamber. Because once you have truly outgrown the tribe, you stop answering its call. Not out of pride, but because the freedom found on the outside is too intoxicating to ever sacrifice. Number 7. They're not emotionally cold. They're surgically selective. If you don't qualify, you don't exist. The most common misjudgment of the Sigma male is the assumption that he is emotionally numb, that beneath the composed exterior lies nothing but ice. But this is a superficial and fatal misreading. The Sigma male is not cold. He is calculated. He feels, and he feels deeply. But that depth is not a public resource. It is not on display. It is certainly not available for everyone. His emotional energy is not an infinite well. It is a finite, scarce, and meticulously guarded reserve. He protects it with the precision of someone who has learned, through searing experience, what happens when the wrong people are given access. He knows the sting of opening up to the undeserving, only to have his vulnerability twisted, mocked, or weaponized against him. So now, he does not shut his emotions off. He filters them. Imagine a high-security vault. It is not empty, it is protected. The Sigma male does not feel less. He simply refuses to feel for everyone. This selective vulnerability is often mistaken for indifference, but indifference is passive. What he practices is emotional discipline. He does not offer empathy to everyone who asks. He does not invest care in those who have not earned it through consistent action and integrity. If you lie, manipulate, overstep, or demonstrate patterns of emotional inconsistency, you are instantly disqualified. No explanation is owed. No second audition is granted. You simply vanish from his emotional radar. This is not cruelty. It is energy conservation, and for the Sigma, that is key to his emotional survival. Furthermore, he refuses to perform emotions to make others comfortable. He will not fake a smile, force sympathy, or display affection merely because it is socially expected. His emotions are real, raw, and rare. This means that if you are ever on the receiving end of his loyalty, his affection, or his genuine concern, it is not a social tactic. It is a privilege, one that very few will ever experience. This surgical selectivity is not armor, it is wisdom. He understands that emotional access is power, and granting that power to the wrong hands leads only to betrayal, chaos, and regret. So he audits every connection, every interaction, every person. You are either worth the bandwidth or you are not on the radar. If this sounds severe, it is because the Sigma male does not deal in emotional charity. He deals in precision, he deals in respect, he deals in what is real, and if you do not qualify for that level of authenticity, he will not hate you. He will simply act as if you never existed. Number 8. They know the difference between being alone and being in bad company. For the Sigma male, solitude is not a fallback position. It is a first-class decision. Most people treat loneliness as a disease. They will tolerate almost anything, shallow conversations, fake friendships, toxic partners, all to avoid the quiet of their own company. But the Sigma male perceives reality through an entirely different lens. To him, being alone is a luxury. Being in bad company is the real curse. The Sigma's mindset is not wired for emotional noise, mediocre energy, surface-level banter, manipulative motives. These aren't just minor annoyances, they are actively draining. Sigma males possess incredibly sensitive internal filters. When someone's presence fails to align with their values, intentions, or level of intelligence, that person is silently ejected from their life. No confrontation is deemed necessary. They have spent years refining this radar. After enduring betrayal dressed as friendship, love laced with guilt, and company that felt infinitely lonelier than silence itself, they arrived at a simple, powerful conclusion. Peace is better than people. While others fear isolation, Sigma males strategically invest in it. Alone is where they recharge, recalibrate, and reconnect with their core mission. In solitude, there is no mask to wear, no emotional debt to pay, no forced tolerance. There is only clarity, focus, and absolute control. To the average person, this level of independence can appear antisocial. But in reality, it is the ultimate expression of self-respect. A Sigma male would rather sit in profound silence than sit at a table where loyalty is conditional, values are negotiable, or authenticity is extinct. Because he understands one critical truth that most ignore. You are not defined by your network. You become what your network allows you to be. So if his circle is small or even non-existent, it is by deliberate design. He does not keep people around out of habit, history, or a fear of emptiness. If someone is not sharpening him, deepening him, or contributing positively to his peace, he will cut the cord. Quickly, quietly, and without apology. For a Sigma male, being alone is never the worst-case scenario. It is the cleanest one. There are no lies to decode, no egos to manage, no loyalty tests to pass. There is only chosen, empowered, and weaponized solitude. Because he knows that being alone is temporary, but being in bad company can cost you everything you've built. Number 9. They see attachment as a potential weakness, not a gift. They will subtly sabotage a connection before those ties can be used as leverage against them. To most, attachment is sacred, a beautiful vulnerability, a sign of trust that binds hearts and builds intimacy. But to the Sigma male, attachment carries a darker price. Exposure. And in his strategic worldview, exposure is a form of weakness. The Sigma male is a natural strategist. Every emotional move is calculated. Every connection is assessed for both its depth and its potential danger. So when he begins to feel truly attached, emotionally tied to another, it doesn't always spark joy. More often, it triggers an internal alarm. Because to attach is to care, and to care is to risk control. He knows from hard-won experience that the people closest to you often hold the sharpest knives. Love, loyalty, emotional intimacy. These are not always safe zones. In the wrong hands, they become liabilities. He has seen how vulnerability gets weaponized, how emotional access becomes leverage, how affection curdles into manipulation once an investment has been made. So instead of waiting to be disarmed by love, the Sigma male will often disarm himself first. He pulls away before the bond becomes too tight. He tests intentions through silence. He deliberately slows the emotional tempo. And if he detects even a hint of dependency, on your side or his, he will begin to subtly sabotage the connection, not out of cruelty, but out of protection. This self-sabotage can manifest as emotional distance, unexplained withdrawal, or a sudden surge of hyper-independence. It is not that he doesn't feel something, it is that he feels too much, and that intensity threatens the hard-earned equilibrium he has spent a lifetime building. When the emotional bond starts pulling stronger than his logic, he will sever the cord before it can wrap around his throat. He does not see this as self-destruction. To him, it is the purest form of self-defense. Because the Sigma male isn't afraid of being alone, he is afraid of being compromised. He has constructed his inner world to run without emotional anchors. Love is welcome, but only if it does not become a cage. So while others chase closeness, the Sigma remains guarded, not because he is heartless, but because he has seen how even the softest attachments can transform into invisible chains. And rather than risk being controlled, he will walk away from any connection, no matter how good it feels. To the outside world, this looks like emotional avoidance. But to the Sigma male, it is ultimate clarity. It is the unwavering choice to be free and misunderstood rather than loved and controlled. Number 10. They don't need constant emotional validation, so they give none. In a culture addicted to attention, Sigma males go dark. We exist in a world built on feedback loops, likes, replies, heart emojis, just checking in texts, a constant stream of digital reassurance masquerading as affection. Most people are addicted to this emotional validation, chasing it like a dopamine hit to confirm their existence and worth. But the Sigma male? He is woven from a different fabric entirely. He doesn't just function without this constant validation, he thrives in its absence. He doesn't require praise to feel secure. He doesn't need daily reminders that he is loved, seen, or appreciated. His emotional core is engineered from within, a fortress that cannot be propped up or torn down by the opinions of others. And because he operates from this place of internal wholeness, he sees no logical reason to constantly offer this validation to others. This creates profound confusion and often friction with those around him. Where others are socially conditioned to send quick emotional reinforcements, "I miss you," "You got this," "Thinking of you," the Sigma male remains silent. Not because he doesn't care, but because he does not operate on that frequency. He is not wired to stroke egos, manage insecurities, or offer emotional sugar simply to keep a connection on life support. He believes in showing up through action, not applause. In a loyalty that doesn't need to be announced every 48 hours. In relationships where reassurance is not a 24/7 service line. But here is where the fracture occurs. Most people interpret this silence personally. They read it as coldness, disinterest, or emotional neglect. They fail to understand that the Sigma's quiet is not rejection, it is neutrality. He is not performing love, he is living it, quietly, profoundly, and without hashtags. Eventually, those who need this constant emotional feedback drift away, frustrated and confused. They mislabel him as emotionally unavailable, when in truth, he is emotionally efficient. He gives what is real, not what is expected. And that makes him fundamentally incompatible with anyone who needs daily doses of external affirmation to feel whole. For the Sigma male, this emotional minimalism is not a flaw. It is freedom. He doesn't need the constant ping of "I love you" because he already knows his own value. And if you don't recognize it, he won't waste his energy trying to convince you. So in a world starving for attention, he remains silent, not to punish, but to protect his peace. Because he knows that a connection of true substance doesn't demand a constant signal. It simply exists powerfully, even in the quiet. Number 11. They don't join, they dismantle. Sigma males don't blend in, they disrupt by default. Observe any social gathering. Most people enter a group and immediately begin to calibrate. What do I need to say to fit in? Who do I need to be here? They shrink, they mold, they exaggerate parts of themselves to match the dominant vibe and secure their place in the hierarchy. But the Sigma male? He enters a room and begins to scan it like a sophisticated machine. Who is performing? Who is posturing? Where are the weaknesses in this social structure? He does not join to be accepted. He enters to observe, to decode, and, if necessary, to dismantle. He is not a team player in the traditional sense, because most teams are merely clusters of conformity, wrapped in unspoken hierarchy and fragile ego, and the Sigma has zero interest in role-playing to earn social points. Where others look for a place to belong, the Sigma looks for the truth to expose. If the foundation of a group is built on fakeness, he will be the pressure that cracks it. If the power dynamics are lopsided and unjust, he will challenge them without a second thought. If the group thrives on unspoken, illogical rules, he will either question them aloud or simply ignore their existence entirely. He is not trying to be difficult. It is simply the inevitable result of an individual who refuses to play by tribal rules. This is why Sigma males are so often labeled as problematic, intense, or disruptive within social circles. Not because they are hostile, but because their mere presence makes people uncomfortable. They disrupt the rhythm of the herd. They do not follow pecking orders, and they do not participate in rituals they find meaningless. And this disruption is contagious. His mere presence gives others permission to question. Alliances begin to shift. Pretenses start to crack. The entire carefully constructed social structure begins to wobble. To the untrained eye, it looks like the Sigma is antisocial. But what is truly happening is far more surgical. He is deconstructing the collective illusions that everyone else has silently agreed to pretend are real. He challenges fake hierarchies. He pierces through status games. He exposes the codependency masquerading as camaraderie. That is why most social groups instinctively reject the Sigma before he can fully embed himself. It's not that he doesn't belong. It's that his presence threatens the group's very equilibrium. He doesn't just resist assimilation. He makes it impossible for others to continue their performance. And he is perfectly fine with that outcome. Sigma males do not enter rooms to be liked. They enter to see the truth. And sometimes, the truth is all it takes to tear a fragile system down. They don't bond through blind agreement. They bond, if they bond at all, through shared strength, mutual respect, and uncompromising truth. Everything else? They'll burn it down before they ever become part of it. Number 12. They're addicted to inner worlds nobody else has access to. People become optional when your own mind feels like a universe. Most people seek their stimulation from the outside. They require conversations, entertainment, parties, drama, and validation to feel alive, to feel real. The Sigma male is the inverse. His high, his purpose, his vitality, it is all internal. He does not need external noise to feel significant. His imagination is a rich tapestry, his thoughts are layered and complex, and his inner world is so vast and compelling that the outside reality often feels like a dull distraction. While others crave connection, the Sigma craves isolation with a purpose. Give him a quiet room, a complex idea to unravel, and a personal mission to advance, and he will disappear for days. Not out of depression, but out of a profound obsession. An obsession with his craft, his goals, his relentless growth. His solitude is not silence. It is a purified signal. It is the fertile ground where his best ideas are born, his deepest breakthroughs occur, and his sharpest strategies take crystalline form. This is why socializing, for him, often feels like an interruption. Small talk becomes meaningless noise. Group dynamics feel shallow and performative. Even well-meaning relationships can feel like friction against his momentum. It is not that he dislikes people. He simply does not need them to feel fulfilled. He is already full. The Sigma male's internal world is a labyrinth, built from past experiences, ruthless self-examination, and future-focused thinking. He doesn't just daydream, he builds. In his mind, he constructs entire scenarios, escape plans, systems, and empires. While others are consuming entertainment, he is playing out multiple possible futures in his head and drafting the strategic blueprints for each one. You will not see this process, but you will feel its results in the calm, deliberate way he moves through the world. This immense internal richness is also the reason he does not hand out emotional access easily. Because the stark truth is, no one truly gets him, and frankly, most have not earned the right to try. His mind is his sanctuary, and very, very few are ever invited across its threshold. When someone tries to enter without the requisite depth or purpose, it feels like graffiti on a masterpiece, an act of violation that warrants instant, silent rejection. People often assume he is disconnected. In truth, he is hyperconnected, just not to them. He is wired into his own universe, and in that space, he experiences a clarity, control, and freedom that no external relationship could ever hope to replicate. So when people wonder why he is distant, why he disappears, or why he always seems lost in his head, the answer is disarmingly simple. Because what is in his head is more thrilling, more purposeful, and more authentically alive than most of what the external world has to offer. And once you are addicted to that kind of internal fire, the outside world becomes little more than background noise you no longer feel compelled to chase. In a world that relentlessly demands connection, performance, and emotional accessibility, the Sigma male stands as a defiant monument, not broken by the system, but masterfully redesigned outside of it. He does not chase validation, he generates it. He does not cling to dead weight, he cuts it loose with surgical precision. He does not dilute his identity to fit into a paradigm he never consented to join. Every silence he maintains is a boundary. Every connection he walks away from is a declaration of value. Every line he enforces is not a sign of weakness, but a calculated testament to his strength. He is not emotionally numb. He is emotionally disciplined. He is not lonely. He is intentionally, powerfully detached. And he is not misunderstood by accident. He is selectively understood by design. His solitude is not a wound to be healed. It is a weapon he wields with mastery. While others search for tribes to belong to, the Sigma male has transcended the herd. He perceives the shallow mechanics of modern relationships with crystal clarity and refuses to play a role in the social theater. He will not beg for loyalty. He will not negotiate his peace. He will not explain his silence. If you drift, he lets you. If you cross a line, he erases you. Not with rage, but with a calm, unshakable finality. To the world, he may seem unreachable, but that is only because they are knocking on the wrong doors. He does not live in the noise. He operates in the shadows, in the silence, in the razor-sharp clarity of his own self-awareness. And if he walks alone, it is not because no one invited him. It is because he already left a party that everyone else is still pretending is real. So if you find a Sigma male distant, cold, or mysteriously absent, remember this: he is not missing from your world. You were simply never granted admission into his. If this resonated with a deeper part of you, you are not alone. Sigma males may not crave crowds, but they possess an unerring radar for authentic energy. So if you felt seen, challenged, or awakened by what you just experienced, do not simply scroll on in silence. Subscribe to the channel and become part of a rare circle that values depth over noise. Like the video if you understand that solitude is not a weakness, but a strength. Comment below. We want to hear the truth of your thoughts. Thank you for watching.